good morning and welcome along to the next series of tutorials that is going to be running all of this coming week. So the painting that we're going to be working on this week is our little dog, which is sat on the sand dunes looking out to sea. So it follows on from some of the techniques that you learnt when you did the landscape painting before, but this time we're going to be putting in our little dog, which is he's just here. So I'm going to break it down in stages for you, but what I thought would be nice with this one is that we actually start with an empty piece of paper. And the reason that I've done that is that I just want to be able to show you the drawing process. I'm not the best of drawers. It's not something that happens straight away. I do make mistakes. I am reliant on my eraser, but I just wanted to go through the process with you, and for this episode we'll concentrate on the drawing of the painting itself. Now I've printed off a photograph of the painting that we're going to be doing today. This little painting I actually gifted to a friend of mine, a very, very dear friend of mine. So I've got the photograph as a reference, so we'll be using the photograph initially this morning. I've also got the line drawings available to you as well, so if you're not feeling that confident with regards to the drawing, then you will be able to use the line drawings instead. So let's just make a start. Now the first thing that we need to do really is we just need to put in our little doggy here. Okay. So we're going to be thinking about the paper and the layout of the picture. Now you can see here I've actually taped my paper to the board, and I've also then taped a second little bit of tape as well. Now the reason that I've done that is I'm actually going to be working with an A4 mount and frame. So when I place the A4 mount over my piece of paper, you can see that I've actually got the nice blue tape all on show. And what that creates is that just creates this little bit of negative space. So you can see that I've got the mount, and then I've got like this little bit of negative space where the tape has been, and then my painting is then in this little bit here. And this area here just gives you that little bit more polished finish to your painting, I think. So if you are able to use your low tack tape and tape out the border, then it just creates that little bit of a polished finish. So what we need to start with is we need to start with our little dog, and we need to think about the layout of the painting. So we need to think roughly where the horizon line is. We then need to think where the sea is, where the little bit of the shore is, and then we've got the dunes that our little doggy is sat upon. So I'm going to start by drawing in my little dog around about here, but first of all I'm just going to put in the horizon line. So using a scrap piece of paper, just very, very faintly just mark the line where you feel that the sea and the sky meets. And then again, you'll be able to see where the sea and the shore meets. So I've probably gone around about a third down for the horizon line. And then in this space here, I'm then just going to split it again around about a third of the actual shape. So I'll just draw that horizon line. And then we can think that this is then going to be the dunes. Okay, So I've got my dunes, I've got my shoreline, I've got my sea, and then I've got the sky. So my little dog is going to sit around about here, just over this line here, and his head is around about here as he's looking out to sea. Okay. None of these lines are fixed. We are able to change them, so it's just using it as a point of reference. So, drawing our little dog, I suggest that you start with his head, and we're just going to do the shape of his head. Okay, so I will just draw his little top of his ear, and then the little bit of shape within his head. Let me just lower the camera down ever so slightly, and then you'll be able to see what I'm doing. And then we'll take his other ear around a little bit more shallow down to a bit of a point like that. This little ear is a little bit sort of cocked away. And as you'll notice, I'm just literally almost very faintly scratching the shape. I'm just putting little sort of pencil marks. And a rule of what I always find useful when I'm drawing is, if you feel that you've made a mistake, like with this ear here, I feel that that is actually too sort of rounded, put in your preferred shape. Can you see that? And then get rid of the mistake that you've made, because you can then see that actually sits a little bit better than the way it had gone before. So we'll come down his neck and we'll draw in the little collar, and then bring his chest down to his front paw. Like so. And then we just need to bring his back down. And then his tummy. Now our little dog is sort of sat a little bit wonky. So I'm happy with the line here of his little paw. I'm happy with his tummy. But I just want to create this leg a little bit more rounded. And then once you've actually got to a point where you're happy with the sort of the lines and the scratches that you've drawn, it's at that point you can then make them just that little bit more solid. So I'm probably going a little bit bolder than you need to, but that's only because I'm actually working with the video now and I'm on the camera. Now if you wanted to, you could change your little dog to something that's is your own. So you could change the ears, you could change the shape of the neck. You could even just leave it that it hasn't got its little paw and it's just literally then sat really sort of with its back facing you. But I just think it's just a little bit nicer just to have a little bit of shape to our little dog. So I'm going to take away this line through the centre that is of where the dunes are going to be, And now the dog's in position, I'm actually going to take away the shoreline, and I'm just going to bring it down ever so slightly. Just get rid of the shavings, and I'm just then going to bring the shoreline just so his head's a little bit looking out to sea. And then that in turn just then changes this line. And like I say, this is what the drawing process is all about. It does change, and I do change things, and things do evolve as we go. So I've got the sky, I've got the sea, I've got the shoreline, and then these are going to be the dunes where our little dog is actually sitting. So on our painting, we've got our little dog, and he's sat within some of the grasses on the dunes. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create just a little bit of an edge just there, and then just in pencil you just need to mark where your grasses are going to be, just as a bit of a point of reference to your painting. So don't go over it too heavily. We'll put another little one there. And these grasses are really quite good, because what you can do is you can actually have your little dog sat within the grasses if you feel that your drawing's not so strong. So we could put some just around his little bottom like that, and then we're going to have some here in the foreground, and some this side too. Okay, now that is all you need to do with regards to your drawing. So your main concentration is literally in this part of the paper. So you just need to be drawing in your little dog. Like I say, you can change it however you wish, so you could even just bring it quite simply just down and then back up again, so your little dog sat with his back really right square in front of you. Or you can just put him on the side a little bit, so he's sat on his hip with his little tail. Draw in a very loose line for your dunes, put in your grasses, and then you could just try and squiggle and soften the line on the dunes as well if you wanted to. But your paints will actually do that when we come to the painting. So I will make these line drawings available to you, so you'll be able to follow them and trace them if you so wished. But do have a go, and have a go at drawing it yourself. Like I say, it's only such a small area of the paper. The rest of the painting is going to be developed through the paints. But have a go, enjoy your drawings. I'm around if you've got any questions whatsoever, so please don't hesitate to get in touch, and I shall see you again tomorrow. Goodbye.